Excellent. Thank you all for coming. So for how many people is this their first history camp? Excellent. Now, let's run down the list just a little bit. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Excellent, excellent. Okay, so there's a lady who came from Maryland who's been to a whole bunch of them. She even presented here and then drove to Denver to present there too. Is Lorna here? Yes, there she is, Lorna. So the reason History Camp exists is because of John Bell and Sam Foreman and Elizabeth Covart, who the first year said, yes, I will present. I don't know anything about this. We don't know if it's going to work. We don't know if anyone's going to show up. But let's put something up on the internet and see what happens. And so the first year it was sold out. That was a good sign. For today, thanks so much to Bob Allison for making this facility available, and the other folks at Suffolk, including the fellow who does AV. Really, it's just such an outstanding facility. I haven't seen Bob yet this morning, but when you do see him, please thank him. It's just a fabulous facility. The T-shirt this year, which has that great evacuation illustration, which looks nothing like the evacuation that actually took place, was done by Michelle Novak, who's watching the live stream. She found that at the Library of Congress. That illustration appeared in Germany, and the title is something like, a true and accurate depiction of the evacuation of Boston. So Jake Sconyers does the website. Thanks to Danny, who's not here. He's in Des Moines. He does History Camp Iowa. Cliff, who is here, who does History Camp Pioneer Valley. And Carrie, who does History Camp History Camp Colorado, rather. So remember last year where you didn't get the session schedule until like the night before? Yeah. Right? The reason you got it days in advance is because of Carrie. The reason there are signs on all the doors which have each of the rooms that have the sessions taking place in the room is because of Carrie. And a myriad of other things. This would have been impossible without Carrie doing it. So Carrie flew from Richmond, where she lives now, out here to do this, and has been working on it, obviously, back in Richmond for months. Carrie's also going to make History Camp Virginia happen. So just to provide kind of some quick context, right, to kind of think back when this started. So the idea was, let's create an event that makes it possible for everybody who loves history to come together, regardless of degree, profession, organization, anything like that, right? If you loved history, you belonged at History Camp. This gives people an opportunity to share their passion, and one of the reasons we do it on Saturday is so that indeed everyone can come. The other reason it works so well is because of all the volunteers, all the people who have been working on this, and last year, and the year before, and the year before. People like Nikki, who volunteered her building a couple of years ago. That's the reason we were able to have a spot at the last minute, and we were just about stuck. So anyway, lots of people have done so many things to get us to this point where we're really at capacity. So that's kind of a nice problem to have, but a challenge. So we're trying to figure out next year, but we're thrilled at everyone coming this year. Thank you so much. We've been talking a lot about what it takes to do this in a larger way in more places across the country. It seems to us that there's a lot of validation for the idea. And so we started with History Camp Cambridge, Boston. And then the second year, History Camp Boston and History Camp Iowa. And then History Camp Boston and Iowa and Pioneer Valley. And then the next year, Pioneer Valley in Colorado. So the question is, how do we find more people who are willing to step forward and do these? And realistically, this is kind of a large undertaking. And there's some problems, some kind of inherent challenges with doing it the way we've been doing it. I mean, the reason it says make checks payable to Lee Wright is because everything just runs through my bank account, and I hope that the credit card statement comes after the bill for the catering. So we're going to look at forming a nonprofit. That is the easiest part of forming a nonprofit, right there. So the goal is not to not change anything with the things we're doing, but we've had several inquiries from across the country, right, over the years of Long Beach, the Adirondacks, Georgia's, right? And so I explained to them how it works, and they usually don't call me back. And I don't think that's because they're less interested in history. So Carrie is going to be the focal point of making this happen. This is our goal. So if people have ideas about how to go from zero to having a nonprofit, please see me or Carrie. And there's some people in this room who have been so appreciative of, who stepped forward and said that if we can make that happen, they will serve on the board. So thanks to those folks. Now, a few housekeeping things. So if people are on the Wi-Fi network, congratulations. If you were on the Wi-Fi network and aren't anymore, that's just what we're going to have to struggle with all day. So the SSID for the Wi-Fi network is SU, Suffolk University, guest. Once you get there, then you can follow the instructions there at the top. Yeah, thank you. That are at the top of your program, right? That talk about History Camp as the username and History Camp 2019 as the login. But you need to get there via the SSID of SU guest. Okay, if you ordered a T-shirt, if you bought one with registration, please claim it by noon. We're going to do this a little differently than last year. Please claim your T-shirt by noon. If you don't want to carry it around with you, ask the folks at the T-shirt table to hold on to it for you, which they will do. At noon, we're going to sell unclaimed T-shirts. So please find the T-shirt table out there. It's pretty easy to spot if someone doesn't know. Ask Carrie or anyone with these black lanyards. Let me take questions at the end. All right, a couple more things. So lunch. So as you can imagine, lunch is going to be challenging just in terms of the number of folks. There is seating on the 4th floor, which is where the lunch buffet will be, and there's seating on the 5th floor. So if the 4th floor fills up, just take the elevator up to the 5th floor. There's a fair amount.
All of the food will be on the 4th floor. So go to the 4th floor and get your food, and then you can go upstairs.
Now, the food's on the 4th floor. So if you are doing carry-out or brought your lunch and want to join us, great. Just come up and join us on the 4th or 5th floor. All right, so a lot of interesting authors, right, and history organizations and activities are represented at the table, and merchandise. So those folks will be there all day. Take some time to stop by and see them. There's also a table there for History at Play, which is doing the performance in this room tonight. It's pretty much sold out. If there are tickets, they will be able to tell you just like a few minutes before the performance starts. So the way the day works, right, is we're going to break in just a few minutes and go to the rooms. We'll do the around the room session, which I think is always the most interesting. It really just shows the diversity and all the backgrounds of folks that have come together here. And then, all right, we'll go through the first half of the day. We'll have lunch. Then we'll do sessions. And then we'll have a wrap-up in this room where we can kind of debrief, talk about what we've learned, ideas for next time, and so forth. I mentioned earlier this concept of us exploring what it would take to put together an organization so that we can do more of these around the country. Carrie and I are going to talk about that at a session right before lunch, 11:45. if you're interested. And then obviously that will be an ongoing conversation too. So talk to us here or send us email and so forth. Tonight, after the performance, after History Camp, there are a few spots for a dinner. The challenge this year, as a few of you probably noticed, is tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day, right? So Saturday night in Boston, the night before St. Patrick's Day, was inherently pretty much impossible to find facilities for a room where people could just come, which was our goal. So we've got a few spots, and there's a sign-up sheet at the will call table, at the pay at the door table. There will also be spots, we think, after the performance. So if you're not going to the performance, want to join us for dinner, sign up. If you're going to the performance and want to join that group for dinner, sign up. There's a separate sign-up sheet for that. All right, Sunday. There are 2 really interesting tours. Patrick is giving one of them. I'm sorry, not Patrick, there we go. Patrick's giving one of them, Mount Auburn, right? And he's going to do a session, and he's going to tell you about Mount Auburn today, and then he's going to do a tour tomorrow. So the way to reserve for the tour is to go online, as explained in the program, and do it via Eventbrite. If that's a challenge, I'm sure Patrick will help you. Bob Allison, whom I still haven't seen yet, he is going to give a tour also tomorrow. There are a few spots left for that. Same story in the program explains where to go to sign up online for those spots. All right, so we've had a couple of cancellations. The 2:45 session, Charlotte Bradford, which was in room 235, right? So 235 at 2:45, Charlotte Bradford. That session is not happening. That lady is ill. The 3:45 session in room 335 on Bored to Death with Taylor Stormer is not happening. He's in Canada. Taylor is the Luciano Pavarotti of History Camp. He always is on the bill but never comes. Just kidding. Okay, so one of the things that is we think fundamental to History Camp is this idea that if you have a passion for history and you want to come and be part of it, great. And if you want to lead a session and we've got a time slot, great. So the way that works is if you are in the audience of a session that's not meeting your expectations, just quietly get up and go to another session. Right? Every time slot, there are 8 to 10 choices. Please do not hesitate to quietly get up and go to another session if it's not what you thought it might be. It's not a reflection on the speaker or anyone else. It's just saying there's too much good stuff. I'm going to walk down the hall to find something else. That's super important. That's kind of the market check on the idea of anyone presenting, and it works great. So don't be bashful about that. All right. So I think there was one question. What I'd rather do is, unless there is a question that's of interest, whose answer is of interest to everybody, I'd rather take questions one-on-one afterwards. So let me take questions one-on-one with you later. And I think we're set. Anything else? Thanks very much. Up to the rooms. See you. Yeah.